AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Today we are presented by our friends over at Pin Hook Bourbon. Get on by craft cocktails, samples, premium cigars, and we are counting you down to Tigers and Aggies from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We got a ton to do. Phil Steele in 15 minutes, Terrio next hour. We got picks, we got previews, we got injury reports, we got all of it. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
LSU heads into this matchup with Texas A&M, and with about 48 hours from kickoff, Brian Kelly on his radio show Thursday night made an interesting proclamation that was a 180 from what he said earlier in the week. Now, we knew LSU's starting left tackle, Tyree Adams, was not going to play in this game. Injured his ankle against Vanderbilt last week in Nashville. He had already been declared out for this week. But what we didn't know was the severity of the injury and what they're going to do at left tackle. We thought we knew, but Brian Kelly first gave an update on Adams and the severity there.
He had a tightrope surgery, which is the surgery that they do for high ankle sprains. So he had that surgery on Tuesday. And that generally takes, 4 to 5 weeks to come back. So maybe we'll have him by the end of the year, maybe not.
Okay, so you're going to be without Tyree Adams for a month. I mean, you figure 4 to 5 weeks, you're talking about being injured, having the surgery on Tuesday, a week before A&M, your open date, Bama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, and then Oklahoma. So somewhere in that mid-end of November, possibly you could have him back. But the reality is you're going to go a month with a different option at left tackle. And that's where this gets really interesting, because Brian Kelly also on his radio show broke a little news that it's going to be the true freshman at left tackle.
We're going to start Carius Curne at left tackle. So there's a true freshman on one side, and then there's a redshirt freshman tackle on the other. So the tackles have to be able to handle their two defensive ends, 50 and 9. They are hard, physical ends, and we think Carius gives us the best chance to do that with his physicality. Again, he's a true freshman, so there's going to be some mistakes. We're going to have to live with some of those, but he's going to fight his butt off, and that's what I like about him.
Okay. By the way, I fully agree with Brian Kelly that Carius Curne is going to fight his butt off, and that's what they like about him. That's what I like about him. However, just 3 days prior, when Brian Kelly met with reporters on Monday, that is not what he said, because Brian Kelly on Monday said that DJ Chester was going to play left tackle. Remember when Adams was injured against Vanderbilt after 15 snaps? It was Chester who played the remainder of the game at left tackle, and Brian Kelly explained this was Monday. This is 3 days prior. 3 days prior, Brian Kelly explaining why they were going with Chester.
Well, that's the best fit for us as 5. For the 5 guys that we're going to put out there. That's our best situation. Moving Josh over there is not going to do it for us. DJ's played a full game there at tackle already. This year, as you know, he played the entire Florida game. Based upon that, and he virtually played the entire game against Vanderbilt, other than the first 12 plays. He had one stumble where his foot got caught in the ground on the turf, and we had a sack that was given up. But by and large, he did what was expected of him, and I have confidence that he can go out there and do the job. Like I said, they've got an outstanding pass rusher over there. 9 or 50 is pretty good, too. We'll have to help. We'll have to do some things to get the ball out quickly. But I feel like if we do that, we've got a guy that's played a lot of football.
So, Monday, Chester, they wanted the experience over there at left tackle. Brian Kelly was also asked again, this is Monday. They were going with Chester at left tackle. And he was asked, hey, why not Carius Curne?
As it relates to Carius, we're in a situation now where, we've got a matchup this weekend against a veteran team and, a great pass rusher, certainly. And Carius is coming on. But to throw a true freshman in there, I don't want to put him in that situation. I could see him playing, but I prefer to play a guy that's had a lot of experience at that position. And knowing that whoever's at that position with number 9, you've got to help. you got to get somebody that chips. You got to put a tight end over there, elongate the pocket. You've got to do a lot of things in the pass game to help whoever's playing over there.
All right, 9 is Cassius Howell. That's who he's talking about. He's the transfer from Bowling Green. He leads the SEC in sacks. As a matter of fact, Texas A&M is first in the SEC, averaging 4 sacks a game. Their pass rush is really good. And so, yes, having experience on the offensive line would be beneficial. However, we all watched DJ Chester this past week against Vanderbilt play a game at left tackle, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Now he said Brian Kelly said Chester's foot got caught in the turf on that sack. He got flat backed is what happened. You want to stand up for your guy. Everyone always says Brian Kelly crushes guys in the media. He basically gave Chester a scapegoat right there where Chester got flat backed by a defensive end. But in any event, Chester's pass blocking grade from PFF was a 37.9 against Vanderbilt. Weston Davis, by the way, was a 23.7. They're going in the wrong direction. You want to talk about Carius Curne? And by the way, I'm going to talk about Chester here in a second. You want to talk about Curne? True freshman, works all fall camp at left tackle. Ole Miss on the road. Davis gets a concussion pregame. 15 minutes before kickoff, Curne finds out he's starting at right tackle, the place he hadn't played yet this year. He ends up starting, and Curne plays 62 snaps, all 62 snaps at right tackle, grades out at a 63.9. His pass blocking grade was an 80.3. He was awesome. Curne was awesome at a place where you've been bad all year. Why? Because he's a tackle. Let me break this down as simply as I possibly can. A lot of people crack on DJ Chester because last year he was the weak link in your offensive line at center. And that's true. He was. Because DJ Chester isn't a center. He's 6'6", 320. He is a guard. He is not the guy you want putting his hand on the football every play, calling out the mic, getting your protections. You want DJ Chester to get in a three-point stance, to have a defensive lineman lined up over him, and to just move bodies or at least get in the way. That's what you want from DJ Chester. At a tackle spot, you're on an island. You have to kick slide. You have to be athletic enough to get to a spot to beat a defensive end. You either have that skill set or you don't. I don't care how many games you've played. DJ Chester is not a tackle. He is not a center. He is a guard. Eventually, hopefully, during DJ Chester's career, they'll play him at guard. Because when they do, he's going to be really good. Just like we had the same conversation with Sage Ryan for years. They're playing Sage Ryan at nickel. They're playing Sage Ryan at boundary corner. He ain't a corner. He's a safety. He had his best year at LSU last year playing safety. Not great. Not all conference, but it was his best year because he was in his natural position. Eventually, hopefully, they play DJ Chester at guard because he is a guard. Carius Curne is a 6'6", 320-pound human that can do a backflip. He is plenty big, strong, mean, physical, athletic enough to play tackle and to move bodies. He is a tackle. So play the tackle at tackle. Yes, I love this decision. This isn't just because they're announcing it today and I'm trying to sunshine pump. I've been saying this for at least a month now that Curne is one of your best 5. It's been very apparent that Carius Curne is one of your best 5 linemen. I would have liked to have seen them replace Weston Davis weeks ago at right tackle with Carius Curne, certainly after the performance he had against Ole Miss. They have not done that. We've continued to see Weston Davis struggle. They've stuck with it. Brian Kelly's gone on the record saying they're continuing to play Weston Davis because he needs the reps. He'll keep getting better, and I believe Davis has the skill set. He does. He's got the athleticism and the skill set. He's just not there yet. He's having to play early as a young guy that's probably not ready to play. Curne looks ready to play. And I'll take some lumps if, look, you give up sacks to Cassius Howell. If it doesn't go great, okay, I'll live with that because I know that dude's ceiling is super high. And here's the other thing I know. You got a month. You got a month before Tyree Adams comes back. So that dude can go park it at left tackle and not look over his shoulder and just go play free and loose and with reckless abandon and wreck people out there at left tackle and keep getting better. I'm excited to see what that looks like for Carius Curne. LSU's offensive line will be better with Carius Curne on the field because he is one of their 5 best offensive linemen. And oh, by the way, he spent all of fall camp running at left tackle. Adams was the first team left tackle. Curne was the second team left tackle. He spent all fall camp at left tackle. He is a tackle. Play the tackle at tackle. I don't know how it's going to look Saturday. It may not go great. A&M has got a really, I just told you they lead the SEC with an average of 4 sacks per game. They're top 10 in the country in sacks and TFLs. It's a really good defensive front. It may not go awesome. And if it doesn't, okay. But they'll have a bye. They'll play Alabama. And when they play Alabama, Carius Curne is going to be starting at left tackle on the road in Tuscaloosa. And he may never give up that spot again because he's that good with that high of a ceiling. He's one of your 5 best, and he needs to be on the field. So, Curne, I would love to know how they arrived at this decision, by the way. From Monday, when Brian Kelly definitively said, DJ Chester is your starter because they want the experience. They don't want to put Curne in that spot. 72 hours later on his radio show, they're starting Carius Curne because they like his athleticism and his physicality and all that stuff. What changed over those 3 days? I will be fascinated to ask Brian Kelly that question on Monday when we get the opportunity. But Tigers, Aggies, it'll be a true freshman, Carius Curne, playing left tackle, and I think that's a good thing. All right, it's After Further Review. We're here from Don Juan Cigar Bar, and we are presented by Pinhook Bourbon. Y'all check out pinhookbourbon.com. Come on by Don Juan. We got craft cocktails. We got Pinhook Bourbon samples as well. Love telling you about the Pinhook Bourbon story. Amazing. Their master blender actually lives in New Orleans. Their staples are their rye, their bourbon, and their cash strength bourbon. That's the green, orange, and purple wax. You'll see them at great retailers. If you don't see it, ask for it. Ask for it at bars as well. Your favorite watering holes. It's Pinhook Bourbon bringing you Friday's show from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Okay. Quick break. We'll come back. Phil Steele is with us. 2 segments previewing and picking the biggest games of the college football weekend. We'll do it with Phil Steele as we continue here on a Football Friday edition of AFR from Don Juan Cigar Bar.
After Further Review.
All right, y'all. Weekend is here, and you got a night kickoff in Tiger Stadium with LSU and Texas A&M. That means you got all day Saturday to check off your honeydews. All day Saturday to decorate for Halloween next weekend. All day Saturday to get in the yard, do whatever type of cleaning, landscaping you may need to do, which means you got all day Saturday to get by Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations. Segan Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you all the time to bypass the big box store. Bypass the big orange and blue box store. Support great local retailers that have supported our communities for decades. Clegg's Nursery is right there. Hey, look, pumpkins, pumpkins, pumpkins. Halloween's a week from today. You need pumpkins for carving, for baking, for decorating, for painting. You want to have a pumpkin painting party? Go to Clegg's Nursery and get all the pumpkins, all the different sizes, shapes. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Oh, Phil's computer has been peacocking around the office all week. The computer had Vandy. Phil liked LSU. Phil, thank you for the time as always. Hopefully it hasn't been too rough of a week for you around the office.
Yeah, I had to wear a Vanderbilt tie to work on Monday, and the computer has not let me know, or it's not let me forget what I liked last week. But you know what? The week will be over pretty soon.
Oh man! Well, hopefully hopefully the Tigers can get on track. We'll get to LSU and A&M coming up in just a little bit. We always love previewing the biggest games of the college football weekend with Phil Steele. You can get him at philsteele.com, STEELE, philsteele.com. Phil, I don't know if this is one of the biggest ones, but I am intrigued. And the big 12:15 kickoff, UCLA is at Indiana. Indiana's undefeated. They're a 25.5-point favorite. But UCLA is fascinating because since they fired their coach, they've won 3 in a row, and they're coming off a bye here. So UCLA, can they make this a game in Bloomington?
The amazing thing is they both played Michigan State in the last 2 games, and they both won by the identical score, 38-13.
Okay.
So you'd have to say, wow, UCLA's got a shot here, right? I just think Indiana's the way better team. And, UCLA took advantage of a Penn State team off a loss. They took advantage of a Michigan State team that's been struggling, and Maryland as well. And the Maryland game, they needed a late score to pull out the win. I just think Indiana is playing great football right now, both sides of the ball. Signetti will put the hammer down when given the opportunity. And, even last week, he put the hammer down in the fourth quarter. They got a field goal to get ahead of the spread. I felt really good about my Indiana play. And then Michigan State kicks a doggone field goal, down by 25 points down by 28 points with 33 seconds left, and we don't cover. But I like Indiana to win the game. I don't know about the spread, though.
Okay.
I think UCLA might be able to stay within the spread, but it wouldn't be one of my favorite plays of the week.
Got it. One of the ones that I'm most fascinated in the entire weekend, Phil, is Ole Miss at Oklahoma. Ole Miss finally tripped up on the road at Georgia. Now they got to go to another tough road environment against a really good defense. Ole Miss in Norman against Oklahoma. Sooners 5.5. How do you see it?
Well, Matt, I had Oklahoma, my number one surprise team in the country this year, and they got a tough schedule coming up, but I think they got to get this one. It's going to be rainy for the game, but I really like the defense that Oklahoma has. They're holding opponents to 141 yards per game below their average, so a large edge on that side of the ball. And I know Chambliss has had some great success early on, but you might be getting caught up to a little bit. Team seeing what he can do. I think Oklahoma's got the defense to do that. And I think John Mateer, whereas he was not 100% against Texas, still not 100% against South Carolina, I think he's a little closer to 100% here. I like the Sooners minus the points at home.
All right, Sooners laying 5.5. That would be 2 in a row for the Rebs. Phil Steele's with us. One that maybe is a bit off a lot of people's radar, Phil, but his playoff implications is South Florida on the road at the Liberty Bowl against Memphis. South Florida is a 6.5-point road favorite, but this is for control for all intents and purposes there in the American, and very likely the leader of the G6 to make the college football playoff. South Florida, can they go on the road and get it done?
Well, I think, if you look at last week's games, you say they're definitely going to do it. They've been playing great, and Byron Brown is tough to contain. But Memphis, what is it with this interim head coach thing? It happens every year, Matt. Interim head coach bounce, and that's what UAB got last week. Yeah. Maybe Memphis took it easy on them or was expecting an easy game versus an interim head coach, and they lost. But now they're back at home. And at home, Silverfield rarely loses. I mean, if you go back and take a look at the last 7 years, Memphis has only lost 6 home games. So they're tougher at home. I don't think they're as bad as they looked last week. They were a team that was 6-0 straight up and ATS. Big question mark, Brendan Lewis, their quarterback, may or may not play. That could be a true freshman in A.J. Hill. But I'm still going to side with Memphis plus the points at home. I really like the home field edge, and I think Memphis still has a shot at being that playoff team from the American Conference. Memphis getting
6.5. One of the teams that Memphis beat, of course, is Arkansas. They're at home, and they're a 3.5-point favorite over Auburn. This, I don't know, Phil, could be the final nail in the coffin for Hugh Freeze if they go on the road and lose this game as a 3.5-point dog. Auburn on the road, plus 3.5 against Arkansas. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Arkansas in this one. I think with Bobby Petrino, the offense is – they played a really good Texas A&M defense last week and put up a ton of points, ton of yards. They did get a 90-yard drive at the end of the game and scored a touchdown the final seconds to make it 42 points. But still, they can move the ball on anybody. And that's happened since the 5th game last year. Taylor Green had started out slow and then really got better as it went on. Now, I'm seeing 2.5 across the board. So if you're going to play Arkansas, look for that 2.5 because it'd be a lot different if it was 3.5. But I do think right now 2.5 across the board. When I look at Auburn, I see a team that, last week when I looked at them, I said, hey, look at the rest of the schedule. If they beat Missouri, well, they didn't beat Missouri. Now they're 3-4. And so they've got to be a disappointed team. I just think Arkansas is playing really good. They're at home. I like the Hogs, and I'll take them minus the 2.5.
A couple more here in this first segment with Phil. Of course, philsteele.com, STEELE, philsteele.com. Bama at South Carolina. Boy, what a gauntlet Bama just went through, and they aced it. Now they got to go on the road, sleepy Columbia. Early kick. They're an 11.5-point favorite. Any letdown spot there for the Tide?
My only concern here, Matt, is that Coach DeBoer is phenomenal against ranked teams, just absolutely phenomenal. But the last 3 times he's taken on an unranked team on the road, he's been a double-digit favorite and lost outright. So that concerns me a little bit. But I also think it'll have Alabama focus for this game. And when you look at South Carolina, their offense is basically Lenore Sellers. They don't have a good offensive line. giving up 26 sacks. They don't have a dominant running back. They don't have a dominant receiver. They have Lenoris Sellers. And defensively, they're not as dominant as last year. When you look at Alabama, since that Florida State game, they have not lost against the spread. They did get a push against Missouri. Other than that, have not lost against the spread. I got to continue to roll with the Tide. I think they're the best team right now in the SEC, and I think they're a legitimate national playoff contender. So I like the Tide in this one minus the points.
A couple of teams that Bama's already dispatched are Missouri and Vanderbilt. That's where College Game Day is going to be. Vandy coming off the big win over LSU last weekend. They're favored again, Phil. Vandy 3.5 at home against Mizzou. How do you see it?
I'm not going against Diego Pavi,
right.
That's for sure. This guy's just a tremendous player, and the belief that they have. And that goes back to my conversation with Coach Lee after the spring practice was over. This was a confident head coach, and not confident like, you know what, we did well last year, we're going to make a bowl game. No, not that type of confidence at all. It was, we're going to contend in the SEC, and I think the entire team has bought into that, and I love that. Now, Missouri played a really soft early schedule. Their first 5 games, all very manageable, all at home. Now that they've gotten in SEC play, their run game has sort of gone by the wayside. You look at Ahmad Hardy, who was getting Heisman mention. In the last 2 games, he's got 36 carries for only 108 yards. That's about 3 yards a carry. I think this Vanderbilt team is one to believe in, and I don't think, LSU had a lot of fans last week. I don't think Missouri will have as many. So I think Vanderbilt might even have more of a home edge this week. I like Vanderbilt minus the points.
And I can tell you they have a very loud foghorn they play in that stadium over and over again. I can hear it next door. Phil Steele's with us. He's on Twitter at PhilSteele042, PhilSteele.com, STEELE, PhilSteele.com. Let's knock out a quick break, Phil. Come back. We'll talk about the late afternoon and evening slate, including LSU and Texas A&M. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place, agent225.com. And as we always tell you, the most user-friendly website in real estate. If you're thinking of selling your home, this is the time. The time to call Darren James is right now. 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666. The reason is because November is the number one most active real estate month in this market. People want to be in their new home for the new year. They sell in November. You want to beat that rush? Call Darren James today. Remember, Darren will get your home sold faster for more money. He guarantees it. It's his guaranteed sale program. Agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash or he'll sell it for you absolutely free. What do you have to lose? Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Live from Don Juan Cigar Bar, today presented by Pinhook Bourbon, pinhookbourbon.com, pinhookbourbon.com. Y'all come on by Don Juan, craft cocktails, great samples as well, hanging out all day today. And glad to have you aboard with us here. Phil Steele's with us, joins us every Football Friday, preview the biggest games of the college football weekend. Phil, this one might be stinky line of the week. BYU undefeated, ranked on the road, a dog against unranked Iowa State. The Cyclones 2.5 at home. Okay, Phil, what gives?
Well, first off, you look at BYU, they've been a sort of unimpressive 7-0. You go back to the Arizona game 2 weeks ago. They actually trailed by 10 points with 5 minutes to go. You go to the Utah game last week. 3 times Whittingham went for it on 4th down deep in BYU territory. That's how confident he was in his offense and that offensive line. I mean, Utah had a 100-yard edge, but the getting stopped on downs did him in. And when you look at Iowa State, I'm going to go back to last year for a minute. When I talked to Coach Campbell after spring practice was over, he was telling me how beat up his defense was last year. And they were so beat up, they lost to Texas Tech and Kansas. But he did a good job adapting to those injuries. And then down the stretch, they won all the rest of their games and got to the Big 12 title game. Well, they're off a bye, so they're healthier than they were against Cincinnati when they were missing 6 defensive starters. They're still missing their top 2 corners. But they're at home in a desperate situation off a bye, catching BYU off the holy war. I like Iowa State this week, minus the points at home.
All right, Iowa State. That would be an unranked favorite over a ranked. One of the angles I always love to play. Illinois is at Washington, Phil. Another one of those Big Ten matchups. Talk about crossing multiple time zones. Washington is a 4.5-point home favorite. Brett Bielema's squad got a shot on the road?
I think they have a shot because I believe both teams are legitimate playoff contenders. And when you look at Illinois, they actually had a 295, 272-yard edge against Ohio State in their loss by 18. So I think the potential's there. Their offensive line's playing a lot better than it did since the Indiana game is gone. They've got a veteran quarterback in Luke Altmaier going against a redshirt freshman quarterback. So there are some advantages for Illinois to keep this one close. You might also look towards the under. Just did a radio show in Washington, and they're telling me it is going to be a downpour for this game.
Man. Okay.
So they've got a big front coming in. I might look to the under in this because if Illinois has a weakness on defense, it's pass defense. But if that's diluted a little bit by the weather, I'm going to lean with the under in this one, but also side a little bit with Illinois. Although Washington, remember, they've only lost one home game under Jed Fish in 2 years, and that was to Ohio State.
That totals 54.5. So looking at the under, I want to grab it now, especially if the weather comes in and starts to push that thing down a little bit. He's on Twitter at PhilSteele042. If you want to give him a follow, PhilSteele.com, STEELE, PhilSteele.com. Phil, we keep an eye, obviously, on the Big 12 race, and Baylor's on the road at Cincinnati. The Bearcats, a 3.5-point home favorite. They're 4-0 in the Big 12, so very much in contention amid that very jumbled Big 12 race. Baylor at Cincinnati. How do we see it?
Yeah, I think Baylor's got a shot here, definitely. It may be the slightly better team. They've just taken on the tougher schedule so far. If you look at Cincinnati, they've played a banged-up Iowa State, UCF, Oklahoma State, and Kansas. Meanwhile, Baylor's been tangling with Arizona State, Kansas State, TCU, SMU, Auburn. So a lot tougher schedule for Baylor. They've been disappointing this year, in my mind, because I had picked the top of the Big 12, and their defense giving up 77 yards per game above opponent's average. But since he's given up 54 yards per game above opponent's average. So two weak defenses, two potent offenses, led by Sorsby and Robertson at QB. I like the over in this one. It is a high number, but I think it'll be a high-scoring game. And I'm going to side with Baylor plus the points.
Over, the total is 66.5. So Baylor and the over, what Phil's looking at there in Cincinnati on Saturday. A few more I want to get to. Phil, this one, the line isn't close with Michigan and Michigan State. The Wolverines are a 14.5-point favorite, but my goodness, that series always seems to be close. And this is in East Lansing. It's hard to look away from a rivalry game like that and look at a number that big. So any feeling that maybe Sparty can keep this thing close?
Well, yeah, I'm going to bring you back to the last time they played in East Lansing, just 2 years ago, Matt. Michigan went in there, big favorite, final score, 49-0. I think they can handle it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they won the last three handily, and to me, this is a line of scrimmage game. If you look at Michigan, the games they've lost this year, they weren't able to control the line of scrimmage. I'm talking about Oklahoma and USC. Other than that, when they get that run game going and they stop the run, that's when they win. And when you look at Michigan State, what's their weaknesses? Well, first of all, run defense. In Big Ten play, they're giving up 5.1 yards per carry. And in Big Ten play, Michigan State can't run the ball, only averaging 89 yards per game. So you've got Michigan being able to do what Michigan needs to do to win, and that's dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And I think they get it done here on the road. And, yes, they've dominated Michigan State. Remember, there was that time where Mike Hart said, hey, their little brother, and D'Antonio had Michigan State fired up every year. That's gone now. Michigan's back to being the big brother, and I like Michigan minus the points in this one. One
more before we get to LSU and Texas A&M. I'm always going to ask you a bunch about the Big 12, Phil, just because it's fascinating, right? Wow. I mean, there's this clump of teams, and it feels like it can go anyway. Well, what about Houston and Arizona State? The Sun Devils favored by 7.5 at home, but again, another one that is going to be formative in shaping this race. Does Arizona State, fresh off a big win a week ago, keep it going?
Yeah, not blown away with any of Arizona State's games so far this year, but it was good to get Sam Leavitt back last week and, of course, pulled the big upset. Texas Tech did not have their quarterback last week, but, Will Hammond's very capable. They've got a good defense, and Houston has a good defense. I'm probably leaning mostly to the under in this game would probably be my play due to the defensive teams you have. And if you look at Houston's offense, hasn't really been explosive this year. And they're coming off a game where there was a lot of points, so I think that inflated the total a little. So I'm going to lean with the under in this one, and I'd side just a little bit with Houston plus the points. As long as you're getting over a touchdown in the game, I think they can make a game of it.
Okay, looking at 7.5 right now. That under, by the way, it's a low number at 46.5. Phil still likes the under there. All right, Phil, it's LSU and Texas A&M. For LSU, for all intents and purposes, if they fancy themselves at making any type of college football playoff run, they got to run the table. That starts with beating Texas A&M Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. We know the drill. A&M has not won in Baton Rouge since they joined the SEC, but, man, they look like the far better team, and the Aggies are a 2.5-point favorite in Tiger Stadium Saturday night. All right, Phil, how does it go?
Well, in my mind, when I look at the game, I see A&M's offensive line is the biggest edge. Their offensive line, LSU's offensive line, massive advantage goes to Texas A&M. In fact, when I talked to Coach Elko post-spring last year, he said, Phil, our offensive line, we're probably middle of the pack in the SEC. And this year when I talked to him, he said, Phil, we're at the top of the line of the SEC. We are a Joe Moore Award contender. So that tells you how good their offensive line is. I don't have to tell LSU fans about LSU's offensive line so far this year. Defensively, I got to give a slight edge to LSU. It's Death Valley. It's at night. And then the good news for you, Matt, is I asked my computer who he liked, and my computer went 24-23 LSU. So how about that? Okay. You got the computer on your side this week, and that should be the deciding factor, right?
I'm guessing the other shoe's about to drop, and you're going to pick the Aggies.
I don't. I'm letting my computer pick this one. So let's go with computer says 24-23 LSU. We're letting it go at that.
All right. The computer was right last week. The computer had Vandy. Phil went with the Tigers. The computer likes the Tigers by a point at home, 24-23. From your computer's output algorithm to God's ears. Here's hoping it happens that way. Tigers need it in a big way. He is Phil Steele. Of course, we always encourage you to go take that Phil Steele Plus Tour. Phil, let's remind them how the tour is doing and what they get when they go to the Phil Steele Plus Tour.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Matt. Yeah, the selections on the tour have gone 4-2 each of the last 2 weeks. Could one play away from being 5-1? That Michigan State field goal at the end of the game costed a 5-1 week last week.
I was right there with you.
Yeah, and then the quick hitters have gone 17-7 the last 6 weeks, and even the NFL play one last week with Cleveland over Miami. You get 5 free selections, 6 quick hitters, and an NFL play, all absolutely free right now. Just go to philsteele.com. Right there on the front menu is the Phil Steele Plus Tour, and it's on YouTube. And click on that and get the notifications and all that. But check it out right now and get yourself 12 free selections.
It's embedded right there at the website at philsteele.com, STEELE, philsteele.com. He joins us every Friday here on AFR. Phil, you're the best. We appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Always great talking to you, Matt. Have a great weekend, my friend.
You do the very same. That is the one and only Phil Steele, always good enough to hang out with us on Friday. How about Phil's computer likes the Tigers? And listen, if you're going to be out at Tiger Stadium, make sure that you stay hydrated with Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore. You can get it at great local retailers, really anywhere, all right. It's a great Louisiana product. Make sure if you're going to be stacking your ice chest or stocking your ice chest with water to stay hydrated if you're tailgating out for LSU on Saturday, if you're heading to the Dome on Sunday, or just make sure you got stocked in your refrigerator. Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Natural artesian water, nothing added, nothing taken away. This is a truly natural product, a better form of hydration, and it is a Louisiana product. Stop buying that water just because it came from some fancy country that you think is cool. Evamore is a better product. It's a superior product, and it's a Louisiana product. It's Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We are presented today by Pinhook Bourbon. Go to pinhookbourbon.com. Come by, see us at Don Juan here 3 to 6. Have a cigar, have a craft cocktail, sample some Pinhook Bourbon. Would love to see you here at Don Juan Cigar Bar. So come hang out with us today on AFR from 3 to 6. We'll knock out a quick break. Our tailgate segment with Chris is next. Stick around.
AFR.
Man, if you have thought about building a pool, you have options. You have tons of options. Lots of great companies that build beautiful pools. That's undeniable. Just look on Instagram. Type in pools near me. You'll see tons of companies that build beautiful pools. One gigantic differentiator with Duplessis Builders. Call as many pool companies as you want. Ask them what their workmanship warranty is. The industry standard is 1 year. At Duplessis Builders, it's 10 years. Why? because Derek Duplessis is, by trade, an engineer, mechanical engineer, also with a minor in aerospace engineering, by the way. Went to LSU, and he stands by the quality of the product they build. They take the time to do it right. They build you something beautiful that will last. That's why they offer you a 10-year workmanship warranty at Duplessis Builders. So check them out online at duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
It's been an excellent week. Luke hops in there. He's playing center. Tully and Caesar continue to build that combination over there, and Trevor and Kelvin on the other side. And so I think the continuity, 4 of the 5 pieces are staying the same, which I think is a value. And Luke's done a nice job of hopping in there and communicating.
That is Saints head coach Kellen Moore talking about what the week has been like. Of course, no Eric McCoy. Luke Fortner will start at center for the Saints on Sunday against Tampa. Look, at this point in the season, the injury report every week is going to be something significant that we're going to keep an eye on. By the way, we're live at Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented today by Pinhook Bourbon, pinhookbourbon.com. Come on by, see us, get some samples, some craft cocktails, pinhookbourbon.com. At this point in the season, there's always going to be conversations when you get into week 8 about the injury report. It's the nature of the game. It's the nature of football. Injuries happen, and who can stay healthy or relatively healthy, and when your depth is tested, that's always going to be a key part of any conversation leading up to a game. For the New Orleans Saints, going into this game against Tampa, losing Eric McCoy and Kendre Miller, obviously massive injuries. McCoy's your best offensive lineman. It's part of the battery there with a young quarterback, and Kendre Miller was really having a nice year as a compliment to Alvin Kamara. But aside from that, the Saints are as healthy as they've been. I mean, there are 5 players listed on the injury report. Olave, Chase Young, Juwan Johnson, Devon Gottschall, all full participants. And then Alvin Kamara with the ankle limited all week. But he's going to go. I mean, it's the same thing he did last week. So, yes, you had 2 really significant season-ending injuries last week. But everybody that's available for you is about as healthy as you be. And by contrast, look at Tampa's injury report. Paul, I don't know if you can pull it up from your side back in studio. If not, that's fine. But yesterday there were 17 players on the Bucs injury report. Today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 17. It's still 17 players listed on the injury report. Now, Emeka Egbuka has been taken off. He was a full participant. He's listed, but he's full. So Teddy Bridgewater, Levante David, Emeka Egbuka, Greg Gaines, Christian Isian, Antoine Winfield, all full participants. So they had been listed, but they're full. Out, Chris Godwin is out. Luke Haggard, their offensive guard, is out. Bucky Irving, their running back, is out. Hassan Reddick out for this game as well. So they're going to be without. We know Mike Evans is out. Chris Godwin's out. So their top 2 receivers done. Now, Emeka Egbuka has had an outstanding start to his rookie season. He looks every bit a number 1 receiver. Like, they hit on that pick. He has been awesome, and I think he's going to give Kool-Aid McKinstry hell on Sunday. But still, no Godwin, no Mike Evans. Hassan Reddick, their best pass rusher, out. And then Vita Vea, who was a DNP Thursday, also a DNP Friday with the foot injury. So he is official list as questionable. Remember, you got Luke Fortner starting in the middle. I mean, we talked about it earlier this week, that how unenviable for Fortner stepping in, having to start, and the first start you're going to make, you're looking at a 350-pound, multi-time Pro Bowler in Vita Vea. Well, if he's not there, what a major break for Luke Fortner and the Saints offensive line. I mean, the comp I gave was a year ago when McCoy got hurt in week 3 plays into the game against the Eagles. You had to move Lucas Patrick from left guard to center. And who's he looking at? Jalen Carter. Good luck, dude. Friggin' monster. Well, and he wrecked the game. Carter did. Well, if Vita Vea is unavailable, it's a massive benefit for the New Orleans Saints. Again, Vea suffered that foot injury. He practiced Wednesday. When he suffered that foot injury, then it was the DNP Thursday, Friday, We'll see if he's able to go. I'm sure that'll be a game time decision come Sunday. We'll see how it goes. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're aboard with us here. Love telling you about Supper Club. Get your reservations at supperclubbtr.com. You know it is going to be popping over there tonight. My goodness. A massive home weekend with the Tigers in town, the Aggies coming in. You know Supper Club is going to be popping tonight. You need a place to go. Even if you just want to hang out at the bar, 14 bar stools, 7 bar tables. You never need a reservation. It's first come, first served at the bar. Maybe go have a cocktail, have a glass of wine, premium top shelf liquor, or have dinner there at the bar at Supper Club. Remember, tomorrow, it's game day. Listen, this ain't a sports bar, but they do have a 100-inch projector screen in the lounge next to the bar. So if you're at any of those bar stools, bar tables, you can see the game. So instead of going eating greasy bar food, how about you go hang out and you could watch the game if you want, have a delicious steak at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations. They're already taking reservations for Christmas and holiday parties. Time to get those booked right now. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. That's Supper Club. All right, y'all, let's kick it. It's time for the tailgate segment. Hit it, Buse.
At LSU, we play hard, but we tailgate harder. Light your burner, fire up the grill. It's time for our Football Friday tailgate recipe of the week with Chris's Specialty Foods. 4 locations, or go to chrisspecialtyfoods.com.
All right, Coben Linedecker joining us here on site at Don Juan Cigar Bar, and we are presented by Pinhook Bourbon. How are you, dude?
Good. Glad to be back, brother.
Yeah, man. We missed you last week. We were up in Nashville. It was, God, Alondra was there. Last week was...
Yeah,
epic for a lot. Well, the game sucked, obviously, but the broadcast there at Garth Brooks' place was pretty phenomenal. I mean, the people were everywhere, but we didn't have food like this. So what we got today?
Yeah, man. So
we can't eat Aggies.
No.
And we can't eat dogs.
Nope.
So what are we eating?
Well, in South Louisiana, when it gets below 80 degrees around here, people start
gumbo weather.
People start firing up gumbo. So I brought all of our boil bag options. We have 12 different options, all of our soups and etouffees. So today I brought the cooked options. I have a baked potato soup,
okay,
a chicken and sausage gumbo, our most popular, a shrimp and corn soup, and then our shrimp etouffee. The best thing about these things is all these items can take up to 3 to 4 hours to cook, making your roux, starting from scratch. We make it to where you can have this Louisiana cooked food in 8 to 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
So people that don't know about us really don't know about these boil bags. These boil bags are already cooked. All you have to do is prepare the rice or the side item with it. You drop that whole bag in boiling water for 8 to 10 minutes, and you can feed a family of 4 with a cooked Louisiana dish.
You leave it. It's frozen.
Yes.
But you leave it in the plastic bag.
Just however you bought it.
That don't melt the plastic.
No,
okay.
That's a boilable bag.
Okay.
So however you buy it at the store, you drop it in just like that.
That's awesome. So so let's go through the options. It's a shrimp and corn soup. Go ahead. Yep.
So we got our baked potato soup right here, our chicken and sausage gumbo, shrimp and corn soup, and then shrimp etouffee.
So you make the rice or whatever side item you want, buy the boil bag, you drop it in boiling water, 8 to 10 minutes, boom, you're ready to go, family of 4.
Cut the bag open and you're ready to serve.
Love it. What about for tailgates? I mean, I guess people you have a propane burner, you can boil a pot of water and drop it in out there?
Yeah, same way you would do a crawfish setup. A lot of people use the same setup as a crawfish setup. If you're on the go, you can just drop that whole bag once your water's boiling, 8 to 10 minutes, it's ready.
Do you make bigger ones, or is it's just this size for the family of 4?
So everything but the gumbo, we do have gallon-sized gumbos.
Okay.
That is the same way, already cooked. You're just heating up. So everything's in these bowlable bags, and the gumbo, we offer a gallon-sized gumbo.
Love it. Yep. Locations all over Millerville, Highland, direct like across from Rufino's, Lakeview, and Central are the 4 locations, and online at chrisspecialtyfoods.com. Again, I always say it's the back-to-back S's, chrisspecialtyfoods.com. And deer processing?
Yeah, it's already taken off. We've already gotten a ton in. And guys, don't wait for your holiday orders for turkeys.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Gift baskets, gift boxes. anything. We're already taking a bunch of orders. Call any of the stores, do it online, get in those turkey and gift basket orders.
Chris does catering as well. You do large events catering. Y'all got to check them out if you haven't yet. ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com. ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com. All right, give me a thought tomorrow. Tigers and Aggies.
Yeah. So when I saw the line open at 2.5, I thought it was a really good thing for LSU. I was expecting at least a touchdown. So I thought
it would open at 6.
Yeah.
I thought it would be 6.
When I saw it was only 2.5, I thought it was really good for LSU. Vegas, as you know, is always right. They're pretty much on the money every time. So I think it's really good that we're only 2.5. I think this is going to be a low-scoring, gritty game. I'm going to go LSU 20, A&M 17.
My guy's going with the Tigers.
Yeah, I think we can pull it out.
I think LSU 20 is. We've already seen it twice in conference games already. I mean, they scored 20 against Florida. They scored 20 against South Carolina. Identical 20-10 scores. I'd take. One more point than the Aggies. I'll take it however may look. Coben, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Y'all go see Coben over at Chris's, ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com, ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Restoration, kill mold, remove odor, home, office building, your vehicle, kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens. Maybe you got a cold, virus, something going through the office, COVID, flu, whatever it may be. You want to spray, knock that out, lickety-split. It's easy. Remember, it's patented, non-toxic dry fog. Patented meaning they don't want to do it. Non-toxic means it's totally safe for your family, for your pets, for your plants. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more. Get that consultation to get that quote, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Again, online, just fill out the form at parishrestoration.com. All right, y'all, wrapping up hour number 1. We're here at Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented by Pinhook Bourbon. Terrio's next after Sports Center. It's AFR.
AFR.
Arco Power Systems, arco.com, arco.com, A-R-C-C-O, arco.com for Arco Power Systems. Tell you about Arco, and I'm going to start getting a little more detail, but I want to spend the time as we start with a new client, a new partner, just making you familiar with this business. I'm going to tell you, I didn't know about Arco until we started learning about them to do this endorsement. They're an incredible business, y'all. I mean, their home base is on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge near I-12. But, y'all, they have offices in San Antonio, Mobile, Little Rock, Dallas, Austin, Houston. They're everywhere. This is a gigantic company, and what they do, they are a Generac dealer, but it's not home. It's not your home standby generator. This is industrial power. It's for your office building. Power goes out. What does your business do? Your business relies on Arco Power Systems. A-R-C-C-O. It's arco.com.